Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the Accelerated 5-minute daily training. And welcome to Accelerated, where we work to make you consistently profitable as fast as possible so you can focus on making as much money as possible. So real quick, let's switch over to the disclaimer for these videos. Go ahead and pause this, take a minute to check it out and understand exactly what we're doing here. We're not providing advice or any recommendations, trade or investment or otherwise. This is here for education and entertainment purposes only. That being said, let's move on. All right, so let's go through the few things that we've been watching lately, and then we'll run through the topic of today, which is going to be all about basically anticipating movement and how that works, limitations, and whatnot. So, all right, so here we got Ethereum, and we're looking at that. We know that it hit the $900 price level, and so we're waiting to see what's going to happen with this, right? We're obviously in deep value territory. I think anything down here is an excellent buy. I'm accumulating myself, and the question is just whether or not we're going to continue to go lower. So we can see the price pulled away from this trend line here, and we've gotten a bounce at that previous support level, right? All the way back over here. Okay? And so now we've retested that downtrend line and we've started to move lower. So what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a test of the dominant downtrend line, even though this is the third acceleration of the momentum to the downside. So I do consider this to be limited opportunity. It will not stay this steep forever. But for now, it's respecting it, and so we have to respect that, right? So it's moving lower. It has broke this uptrend line here, which is the counter trend line, which essentially is a trigger, is one of the triggers that we use to add to our positions on the dominating trend. So that tells me that the momentum for the upside has now essentially died, and the bears are taking over to the downside. So now it's just a matter of time, just watching what happens here, whether or not we come down, test, or break, or we reverse from there, which would be bullish. So, all right, moving on. If we go to oil, all right, we see that as we talked about, it came down into this area of congestion here, and we have reversed higher out of that, and we have retaken this trend line here. So if we make new highs, this trend line will get adjusted below these lows here. But in my opinion, I consider this to be, I mean, not only is it bullish from a price action standpoint, but I consider this to be essentially it getting reenacted, motivated, and whatnot with the trend itself, which is up. So anyways, looking for that to come up here and take out the highs. And on the NASDAQ, we are looking at the, so again, it looks like the price, the downtrend line was respected, and it was confirmed. Same deal here. Right, so we've got a very, very steep counter trend line going on here. Price has broken that to the downside, so momentum is to the downside. Bears are in control. Now it's just a matter of whether or not that continues to the downside, or if we get some sort of support price action in here, and then it moves higher, which we would then be targeting this downtrend line here. So that being said, so like I said, I want to talk about anticipating price movement, right? So we've kind of already seen that and talked about that a little bit. Price is always constantly searching and seeking value. Every day, every week, every month, those closing prices essentially give us a level of value indicative to what the market participants have determined that value to be, right? So we have closing prices, right? So for instance, 11,600 was the futures closing price for the NASDAQ yesterday. So that is what the market participants for that day determined the value to be, right? And so when we add in volume and we add in momentum, right, that's how we're able to kind of anticipate what we think is going to happen next, right? And again, it's always a guess. Based on what's happened previously will give us a better idea of what we think is going to happen. And that's what allows us to be profitable in the first place and set profit targets and whatnot. And then we use a combination of market profile and VWAP and support and resistance, which is, in my opinion, is a combination of essentially the market profile, volume profile, and all that, which I'm going to be introducing probably Friday, and we're going to get deep into that. So that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. However, so whenever I talk about, so for this instance here, right, support is in this area here, and now that we have broken momentum to the downside, price will more than likely continue in the direction of the main trend, right? So that's just the way that this works. That's just the way that things, the way that the market operates, and so that allows us to set things up. Now, depending on, so we have potentially heavy support down here, so that makes a difference as to our risk reward, right? So we want to have things like, this is pretty, in my opinion, this is pretty late in the cycle as far as like the downtrend goes. So for me, I am not looking for some crazy huge price movement here, aside from some brand new news that comes to the market that really shakes things up. And again, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, with the Fed having their, the largest rate hike in forever and the largest inflation report coming out, this right here, this move right here, is not overly impressive for the market supposedly panicking and continuing to the downside. So I'm seeing a lot of kind of supportive price action here where it looks like there's buying and maybe profit taking happening from the people who are shorting it, and we could be preparing for a launch to the upside. So again, all those things are important, and like I said, it's an educated guess at that point. But those educated guesses combined with proper risk management is what allows us to make money, right? So and then going on to, so let's say profit taking versus reversal real quick, because we're already limited on time. So we probably won't get to, let's do what I consider rubber band volatility and a reversion to the mean. So price never continues in any one direction forever, right? And so price has the tendency to, once it's run very hard in a specific direction, to reverse from that price, right? So this is no different than what we see in specific movements here. So when price first broke earlier in the year, and we headed steeply down, right? So we were in an uptrend, multi-year bull market uptrend. We consolidated here and broke down. And it breaks down hard like this. We all know that the price never continues forever in that one direction, right? So if you look at it almost like, and this has to do with like that 45-degree trend line that I talk about that's sustainable, and the ones that are steeper than that, higher or lower, generally are not, right? But the further that it moves away from that sustainable course, the higher of a tendency it has to snap back, right? So that's kind of what we see here when you have, even when you have this new steeper trend line drawn, right? Price moves away from it, snaps back. Price moves away from it and snaps back, right? This is reversion to the mean, right? So the mean being the central location, and so reversion would be a reversal of the price action against that. Doesn't mean that the trend has reversed. Oftentimes it's profit taking that happens alongside of the trend itself as it moves back towards the main trend lines or the main to the mean. But sometimes it's not, right? So like we have this guy, okay? You can kind of envision the trend line here. Price broke support and broke away from that pretty high, right? So if you're getting short down in these levels, anticipating price to continue to break down, right? Counter trend lines break through here, and we continue momentum to the downside. This is a rip your face off kind of rally, right? So it's important when we talk about like these poor lows, right? When price comes down and it's retesting the lows and it's not breaking through in a meaningful way, and this goes back to anticipating price action, right? When it reverses from here and in a big way, especially during bear markets, the bull rallies that happen amongst that can be super, super intense. And so identifying where it's just profit taking or where it potentially is a full reversal of the trend is an important and meaningful deal, right? So anyways, hope you got some value out of that. That's always my goal. Just sharing the love and spreading as much as I can. So anyways, happy trading, good luck, and I will see you guys on Friday.